We have a trade in August. I got to say, this is a pretty fascinating trade, and the Nuggets are getting a lot of heat for this move, but I actually don't blame them. Peyton Watson getting 22 million a year. I do think that's a little bit on the high side, but I understand that he is a starting caliber player, and that's about 15% of the cap. But the Nuggets were already pressed against the second apron. I mean, they were over the second apron, and this would have put them way over, and that 2034 pick would have been frozen. So they were risking losing that pick in the future, and they knew they couldn't risk it, so they knew they had to make this trade. And so in return, they get a first-round pick, and Max Strus gone to the Clippers. I mean, he maybe get dealt later for like a second-round pick or something. And the Nuggets don't get anything back. So this looks like a terrible trade for them, and I agree, it's not a great look. Mostly because you paid Christian Brown instead of Peyton Watson, and I would rather have Watson. I think they're regretting that move. You could only really afford to pay two stars, so that's Jokic and Murray, and then you could only afford to pay like two starters over 20 million, maybe 30 million. And so Cameron Johnson is taking $23 million, and then Christian Brown also like another 23 million or so. Sorry, that's my dog in the back. But my point is, they really didn't have a choice, and so they got a first-round pick, and I think it's fair to say that they lost and they mismanaged their cap situation, but we already knew that. What they can do with that pick is now get some asset, a cheaper asset in the future, and maybe this season, depending on how the season goes, but they do got to shed some more talent to get under that second apron. They had no chance getting under that second apron if they didn't let this move happen. They had to let Peyton Watson go in order to get fully under the second apron, and now I think they will before the end of the season. For Cleveland, I like the trade. I'd rather have Watson than Schroeder and Max Strus. That's essentially the trade. Plus, they gave up a first-round pick and a second-round pick. I would rather have Watson, and I think you got to surround Harden with as much defense, and Peyton Watson will help with that. Evan Mobley will help with that, and obviously Allen. They're surrounding Harden with the right type of talent, and it looks like Harden's going to go back there for about 26 million. It just seems like, man, that guy, I do not trust Harden in the playoffs, and he's going to get hunted. And so if you're going to keep Harden and try to build the offense and defense around him, Watson is the type of guy you want. So I do like the trade for Cleveland. I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, they're already all in. They signed Mitchell to an extension. I don't see the downside for this trade. I think they took advantage of Denver's situation. So great trade for them. I know it looks bad for the Nuggets, but I think overall, I totally understand the move. It's just that this was going to happen. Either you were going to go way over the second apron, or you were going to lose Watson for not that much, and they lost him and only got a little in return. But I think they could use that 2031 Cleveland first-round pick in the future for some other talent. So it will be interesting to see how the Nuggets do this year. I don't think it's that they move down the pecking order, but do they move down a whole lot? I don't know. I like Watson, don't get me wrong. I think he's worth close to that amount of money that he got, but I don't think it's like the Nuggets have no shot at beating any team in the West. Like, I still think they could beat most teams in the West besides the Spurs and OKC. Also, I really like Lonnie Walker, and I think Lonnie Walker, Spencer Jones, I think plus with Cameron Johnson, you could kind of replace him in the aggregate. And if Aaron Gordon stays healthy, then that changes the whole landscape of that team. So that's what really that team depends on, his health more than anything else. That's the biggest swing factor. So I appreciate you watching. I'll talk to you next time.